All right, y'all. What's up? What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to your favorite WMMA show. Hashtag CB99 Talks. What's up, y'all? Been about a 2 week stint, right, since the last one. Of course, last week we did the WMMA mashup show with my man BJ. But yeah, what's going on? What's up, Tiago? How you doing, man? Back with another one, y'all. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. And of course, I got something I want to talk about, man. I got something I want to talk about just popped up today in the news. And I know it's going to make some fanboys mad. It's going to make some fanboys mad. Whenever other fighters talk about other fighters when it comes to their thoughts on certain things. So let me hold off on that here. I'll talk about it though. Well, let me see, man. What we got going on? We got a fight weekend coming up. We back. We got another fight weekend. We got 2 WMMA fights. And I think these are going to be good, man. I think at least one of these fights is going to be a finish, I think. Okay. Look, I'm just saying. I'm not promising you anything. We got to finish, I think, on the horizon. Got to finish and maybe a pretty good, solid fight, like a fight of the night situation. I can see that again because WMMA has been delivering the past few days. So yeah. All right. Of course, let's see. We got Amanda Nunes coming back. Let's talk about some things with Amanda Nunes. This summer is gonna be hot. Let's see. It's still spring, but we got this fight card coming up this weekend. And then we got 2 weeks from now. Almost, let me see, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? May 10th. Yeah, May 10th. We got the big one coming. Got the flyweight tournament. The flyweight tournament's coming. All right. Jasmine Andrade. I got to talk about that fight more. I haven't really discussed that with Jasmine and Andrade fight. Jasmine Andrade, Grasso Silva, and of course the Bullet versus the Beast. Bullet versus the Beast. Shout out to what's his name, Dozier Music. He was saying that fight ain't really been promoted yet. You know what? Well, you know how they do a WMMA fight. So I'm gonna do the best to promote Shevchenko Fiorot the best I can. All right. So only thing I can say is watch the fight. All right, watch the fight when it comes. Fiorot's a good fighter. Definitely behind her in this one. Definitely think she's got the skills to do it. But Valentina, man, I'm a fan of Valentina too, man. Pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world. So it's gonna be good, y'all. It's gonna be good. Pena Harrison's gonna be good too. I think, man. I think that's. I think it could be like an upset, but I kind of see a thrashing coming. I kind of see a thrashing coming. I kind of see a thrashing coming in that fight. But yeah, let me see. Where do I start? Where do I start today, man? We got Dakota talk. I've talked about her a little bit, since the last weekend. She's been having her situations. Dakota has been not, I won't say she's been begging, but she's been showing frustration for a fight, and PFL have just kind of put her on the sideline. So I don't know. Really, like, y'all's guess is as good as mine. I mean, Dakota, any fight outside of the UFC is really going to be kind of easy work for her, right? Like, let's be honest. That's the first question I want to ask before I jump into this. Like, who do you really see outside of the UFC giving Dakota work? That's why I'm just throwing names out there. I'm trying, man. Like, I'm just trying. Like, ex-UFC fighters, Montana, Jennifer Maia, Andrea Lee. That's about it. And I think, Jennifer Maia might actually be able to go 3 rounds, but I don't know if Montana or Andrea Lee can go three rounds with Dakota. I think Jennifer Maia is probably the only one when I really think about it. But other than that, I mean, who else is going to give her like a heck of a fight? Nobody, right? People say 135. Okay, I mean, if it's like a simple little stay busy fight, maybe. But I really want to see her in there with somebody that's going to give her a challenge, or at least until the winner of this tournament passes, So we'll see. Yeah, Maia or Montana. All right, what's up, two beasts and Axel's in the building and Marcus Bell. Marcus Bell said a respiratory infection. Okay, get well soon. Get well soon. And what's up, Sergio? All right. Got some good WMMA fans in the building. So what do y'all think, man? Who do you like for Dakota? I mean, yeah, Maya and Montana is pretty much it. And Lee. I mean, it's 2 months from now. 2 months from now. So I really don't see her having a big super fight. Maybe just somebody that can give her a little something, give her a little work. Give her a little work for 3 rounds. Give her a little scare to make her say, oh, got to work on something. Right? That's about it. That's about it. All right. What's up, Tay Tay? Tay Tay in the building. What's going on? But yeah, I pretty much covered that already. So, Sergio, nope. Not Denise Kielholtz because she's still coming back from the. She was on maternity leave. She just had a baby. And I think she's just getting the abs back. She ain't in fighting shape right now. So no Denise Kielholtz. I didn't name her. That's why I didn't name her. She can't come back in 2 months. Oh my goodness, Tay Tay's frying chicken. I haven't. When was the last time I ate fried chicken? First time I ate fried chicken in like 3 or 4 months was last Saturday. So I can't eat anymore. I can't have any more. I try not to do it too much. But hey, if you live down the street, Tay Tay, I would definitely get a piece of that chicken from you. If you live next door, I would definitely say, hey, give me a basket or a bucket. Maya makes sense. Yeah, Maya's pretty much the only one that makes sense. 2B said one FC's flyweight champ, Chinese girl's name I can't spell. Oh, not what's her name, Yang Zhanong or something like that. Starts with the X too. Sergio said Maria Agapova. Dang, he trying to get Agapova killed. Ravioli said, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." I was about to say, "Where's Kielholtz?" Yeah, Agapova boy. It might as well be Mandy Bohm. I'd go ahead and put Mandy Bohm in business. Go ahead and no, you know what? Put Mandy Bohm and Agapova in there on the same night. If that's how y'all want to do it, put them in the cage at the same time. Axel said if Dakota fights Maya, that would be good for her. She'll be able to better assess where her skill is compared to the UFC girls. Yeah, I think so because number one, Maya didn't leave off on a bad note, right? And number two, I think Maya's a heck of a lot more durable than Tyler is at this point of her career. Like she's shown like that she still got it. She's never really bounced back with like so many wins in a row against top level competition. No, but as far as her durability, I got to give her full credit. A whole meal combo. Yeah, that's what I got some. I actually made some ribs last night. I baked some ribs. So, hey, ribs and some chicken would be good now. Maya would beat Tyler at this point in her career. I do think so. 2B said, didn't someone just get cut off of a win from the UFC rankings? Montana did. Montana got cut. Montana just beat Andrea Lee, and she was going to fight Luana Carolina, but Luana Carolina misses weight, and they cut Montana. That's kind of weird, right? So, yeah, things like that. So I'm just saying, like, I'm just throwing names out there. Dakota. I know some people wanted to know my thoughts on it. I broke it down. I was like, hey, this is all I see. This is all I see, man. There's really nobody that I agree, Sergio. At this point, the more and more I study Dakota myself and I'm watching what she's doing and I've seen what she did to Tyler now, I'm legit on that train where she is a threat to the girls in the UFC. Like I can say that safely now. I can safely say that now that she is full on a threat now because she done beat the former world title challenger in Tyler. So I'm gonna give her full credit as far as what she's looking like. Because when I compare it to some of the other unranked girls in the UFC, she's looking better than some of them. So yeah, I don't see anybody else outside of the UFC like that's a super fight or even that challenge. Colosum said, how many rounds do you think Maya will last? I think Maya is the only one that would probably go 3. I think Maya could go 3 rounds. Whether it have to be in survival mode or trying to muscle cage wrestle mode. I think Maya would get outworked and maybe stumbled a few times, but I think Maya's got the chin and the strength to last. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like maybe before you got here, I just said, yeah, she's the only one I see lasting 3 rounds. Like Andrea Lee and Montana, I don't think they last 3. I don't think they last 3. I really don't. All right, but yeah, I got a few of y'all in here now. Let's get to this topic here, man, before we talk about some of these other fights this weekend, man. I want to kick this thing off right away because I want to make some fanboys mad. See, Tay Tay, she ain't no fan, she ain't no fan simp. So, I can always talk to her too. And, most of y'all in here, but some of y'all that just like to peek, y'all gonna talk some junk because I agree with this message right here. But anyways, let's talk about Aaron, man. I just pulled up this article for MMA Junkie and I sent it to BJ. BJ saw it. I like to hear what BJ got to say about this one, though. Does he agree or not agree? All right. So if y'all didn't see this article, let me see. I'm gonna put it in the chat here for y'all. I was just flipping through, and then I saw some people already making some mean comments about Aaron Blanchfield here. Aaron Blanchfield is giving her thoughts on Zhang Weili at 125. All right, give me 1 second. So if you want to read along, I'm going to put it here in the chat. Hold on. I got it right here. So there you go. If you want to read along with me, uh-oh. All right, so Aaron Blanchfield, UFC champ Zhang Weili's success wouldn't translate to flyweight. So Aaron had a few things to say. She said that Zhang Weili probably would make do with some wins, but she wouldn't be able to become champion. But let's read her words. All right. So Aaron says, referring to Zhang Weili, she says she's really tough, so I could see her winning some. I could see her winning some, kind of like how Rose Namajunas was able to win some moving up. But I think she's really tiny. She said, I've seen her in person. Weili's very short, especially for 125. So I don't think she would be a champ at 125. Okay. I mean, really ain't nothing wrong with that. Really ain't nothing wrong with what she's saying. I mean, that's what I was saying myself, and I'm not just saying that because she said it. I've already said that on record. Like, she might be able to do some work, but becoming champ is going to be harder at 125, right? Hold off on that. But yeah, she said, I don't think she'll be champion 125. She said, oh, okay. Then when she actually says how she matches up herself against the strawweight champion, Aaron said, I would see myself finishing her. I feel like it'd be similar to Jessica Andrade. I feel like they have the same build. They'd have the same build, and they're both aggressive. So I could see myself finishing her. Ooh. Yeah. Uh-huh. You read that? I'm going to read that to y'all again. So she said, I would see myself finishing her. I feel like it'd be similar to Jessica Andrade. I feel like they have the same build and they're both aggressive. So I could see myself finishing her. How y'all feel about that? Yeah. So, and yeah, look, sounds like facts. Yes. So, I mean, from what I'm hearing on that, I don't see anything wrong. I don't see anything wrong with what she's saying. She's just calling it like it is. I mean, it's somebody that's in the division at 125 and that's fought their way up and, has fought. How many fights has she fought in the UFC now? Aaron Blanchfield? 7, 8. Seen so many different styles. She's fought a lot of different styles, when it comes to, big girls like Manon, powerful girls like Andrade, or strong grapplers like Tyler Santos, fast strikers like Molly McCann and Aldridge. I think Aaron has a lot of ground to stand on. I definitely respect Weili as the strawweight champion, and I think she's one of the most decorated fighters now and most well improved fighters as far as her skills too. When it comes to her weight class, but when I look at like what Aaron is saying, it is a different world. It is a different world. Like you see a lot of physically strong grapplers at flyweight, but they know how to strike. But it can actually go the other way around now, because I used to say that before, and I know BJ, we used to say that like 125 was more grappling heavy. But as of lately, it's like a mixture, because the top 5 is taken over by strikers now. Way better strikers than they used to be. And Aaron can attest to that. Aaron can attest to that because she lost to one of them, right? And you just can't come in with one or two skill sets. And you can't really, to me, you just can't come in with the wrong frame too. Like, I think it's a mixture of a lot of things, man. Like, I think even Dean Thomas was talking about it, man. Like, Dean Thomas was talking about like having the right frame and the right size for a division and knowing how to use it. Because I've always said that. And I remember him saying that not too long ago, because I've always kind of said that about fighters. Like Weili, she's got the perfect frame for 115. She's quick. She's kind of short where she can get in. She's not too tiny, where she can still dominate even the taller girls. She kind of falls right into the right position where when you look at girls like she said, like similar frame like Andrade, when Andrade is in close quarters, yeah, she can hurt you. But, with Andrade not really using her grappling to the best of her ability, when she moves up to 125, Andrade's not really that big of a threat. The bigger the girls are, the easier it is for them to keep her at bay and even hurt her. That's why I'm looking at the fight with Jasmine. Jasmine versus Andrade. Anything can happen as far as, her puncher's chance, but, that's a big size difference there. And I think Aaron kind of sees the same thing playing out against Weili. Now, do I think she would finish Weili the same way? Because, when I'm talking about Weili not being a champion, I am talking about Weili against Manon or Weili against Valentina. I don't see her beating any of them. Now, with Aaron coming into play, I think that fight would be more competitive. I think that, Weili is not going to come in there overconfident, and she's going to come in there well prepared like she did against Suarez. Okay. Now, that's why I'm going on record to say that. Like, I agree with what she's saying as far as fighting the top girls. Definitely don't see her beating the Bullet or Manon. But the lower you get down the ladder, there's going to be some fights that Weili could win, but they're going to be hard. They're going to be hard. And speaking of hard, Weili may be small, but if that weight cut's not rough, she might be able to hit hard at 125. And that's a question I want to ask y'all. Like, if Aaron was to fight Weili, who do you think is going to be the harder puncher at 125? Do you think Weili or Rose is the harder puncher? I mean, we already seen how hard Rose hits at 125. Not too hard. She's still building her muscle up, so I'm gonna give her that. Like, Rose is still growing into the division, but if Weili was to move up now, do you think her power would suffer, or do you think it would be more dominant? Do you think her power would be more dominant? See, I'm just looking at this. I'm looking at this down the line here. Like, I think when Weili moves up and takes that chance, she's gonna know what to do, and her team is gonna work with her. They're gonna work with her to help her, really shine where she's really strongest at. But at the same time, they're gonna prepare. I mean, speed wise, I gotta give speed wise to Weili over Aaron. Aaron might be stronger, or Aaron might be able to keep the same, or they might be about the same. But overall athleticism, I do give that to Weili. But you just never know, man. Aaron is durable. I think Erin would be the most durable fighter she'd have fought. That speed is a problem, though. That speed is a problem, Weili. You know, I think she can move in and out, and her wrestling too, man. Like, I think her wrestling has improved over Erin's. I'm gonna say that too, man, because it's proven. You know, I think her overall wrestling has proven. But yeah, that would be the more competitive fight at 125 to me. I think that would be the more competitive fight is Erin and Weili. Do I think she could finish Weili? If there was some reckless moments in there, you know, that's how good I think Erin's jiu-jitsu is. But I think that if Weili's power carries up and she can still keep that same speed, she'd be a problem for Erin. You know, I think Erin's problem is some of these quick strikers, the better strikers, the ones that don't really have that physical strength to fend her off. And if Weili's strength is there and her striking's there, oh yeah, she would be a problem there. You know, that's just being honest. But Erin's got a good jab. Erin's got a good jab, and she's a proven flyweight. So if Erin was able to win, I wouldn't really be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. But I like the fact that Erin just being honest too. Like, you know, she comes up, yeah, there'll be some girls she could beat. But when you start stepping it up against the true flyweights, I think, you know, like a Silva, Fiorot, and Shevchenko, I think those would be like Weili's toughest fights. And even then, like, yeah, I don't see her winning those. Ravioli said I don't trust Weili's chin at 125. And that's another thing. Yeah, that's why I don't see her beating like the heavier, quicker strikers, you know, the fighters that are really heavy on their stand-up. The ones that just like to stick and move and can pop you and move. So those are the type of styles that give her problems to me. Now, Erin, on the other hand, you know, she's not really that type of striker. That's why I think that the fight would be at times some even playing field there. But if Erin is strong, man, if Erin is just as strong, it would kind of balance the fight out. See, we already know that Manon is stronger because Erin said that. So her strength is off the chart. So we already know she would be too strong for Weili. But, you know, where Erin stands, she's probably like strong. But then we got to see how Weili is at 125, like how her strength is. BJ said, and if Weili did stop Erin's takedowns, then Erin is going to stand up with her. Erin is well-rounded. Yeah, and Erin don't stop coming either. You know, Erin doesn't get frustrated. Like, Erin doesn't mind taking a couple of shots. Like, unlike Suarez, you know, Erin doesn't take time to wait. Like, she waited through a lot of shots. Like, she did a lot of pushing and grinding to get in on a lot of these fighters, you know. So that's another thing that Weili would have to deal with. So you know what? Like, that should have been the fight to make. You know, Weili wanted to move up to 125. They should have made that fight. They should have made that one. So yeah, I don't disagree with Erin on this one though, man. As far as like her being champion, like whether it be May 10th, if Valentina wins, I still think it'll be Ann Steele if she fought Weili. If Manon wins the belt May 10th and Weili still wants to challenge, I think it'll be Ann Steele for Manon. Manon would get her first title defense against Weili. Erin, though, you know, Erin, it would be a little bit more competitive. But like she said, man, just coming up and you look at size, it still does play a big difference. It will play a difference. So the top 5 is going to be hard for Weili when it comes down to it, when it really comes down to it. Erin wasn't scared to stand in front of Tyler. She took her best shots too. Erin's got a really good chin. Too. So when Erin gets hold of you and she pushes you to the cage, and that's why I said when you look at Erin's resume, you know, count all the girls that she's already like fought and pushed them to the cage, you know. Count all the girls that she's fought and pushed to the cage and they couldn't get out. The only one that could, we already know who that is, but even Rose got that one takedown on Aaron, but after that, as the fight pressed on, Aaron was taking charge, and then she took charge of Tyler too. So yeah. But yeah, that's just her thoughts on it. That's just her thoughts, and I'm not mad at it. I know a lot of people were starting to go in, but she's just being honest. There's difference in weight classes here. The styles are going to be different, right? But yeah, let's take a look at what we got going on this weekend real quick. All right, let's see here. But that would be interesting if they did make that fight. All right, let's see. We got Jacqueline Amorim and Poliana Viana. This is it's like the second, third fight. I think the main card, let's see, starts at 8. Where's the main card start? Yeah, 9. Prelims is at 6 o'clock. All right, this is kind of another growing fight for Jacqueline Amorim to me. Let's see, Poliana Viana. What kind of win streak is she on? Oh man, yeah, she got submitted by Yasmin Lucindo in her last fight. Poliana Viana just never really has something that stands out to me. Like, I don't know. Poliana Viana, like, got some good striking moments in her fights. I know she knocked down Jinyu Fry, knocked her out, and she did come in submitting a few girls, but definitely one of those girls that could be on the chopping block to me. Poliana Viana is. She lost to Jillian Robertson. Yeah, she got stopped by Jillian Robertson. She got stopped 2 times in a row, Lucindo and Robertson. And now they got her in there against another hungry girl, and Jacqueline Amorim. I think I got to go with Amorim in this fight, man. I'm going to go with Amorim because I think Amorim, however you pronounce the name, 9-1, she has shown a lot of improvements. Like, in her UFC fights, I think, let's see, the one time I picked against her was a Sam Hughes fight because I just thought that was too big of a step for her. They probably thought she was going to go in there and submit Sam, but Sam just out-wrestled and outworked her. But then she went in a nice little win streak, finished Corey McKenna, Vanessa Demopoulos, and Ruiz. Yeah, I think this is a building block for Aaron. Not Aaron. I think it's a building block for Amorim. I think that it's just another fight to try to get her close to getting ranked. And that's good. I mean, she's been looking better for a 5'3" strawweight. Got a long reach too that she knows how to use. Really dangerous on the ground. And the fact that she's been working on her ground and pound and striking, I like it. I like that. That's gonna make her dangerous. Like, I think next to I think her killer instinct when she gets fighters to the ground, she's more dangerous than almost like Verna in almost even more dangerous than Dern. Like, when she gets you down, she's already looking for submission. Like, there's something dangerous about Amorim's submission game, man. Like, I don't know if y'all been seeing it. For a while, it kind of left her as one-dimensional, but as of lately, she's kind of been working on like some heavy elbows and ground and pound. And I know we're going to talk about resume, but, she came in just submitting people. I mean, she was submitting everybody until Sam Hughes. She submitted everybody. Well, she finished everybody except Sam Hughes. BJ says, is this a go-home fight? For Viana, it is, yeah. I think if Viana loses, if she loses this one and she gets stopped, it'll be a go-home fight. Most definitely. I think if Amorim wins, it'll be a possible rank fight for her, or maybe fight a rank fight. Yeah, because it's about time some of these girls step it up, man, because we need some new girls in the rankings. I mean, Jillian's there now. Jillian, she came in, last year? About a year or two ago now. And she's in there. She's number 12, so she ain't playing. But some of these other girls, let's see, Tisha versus Luana Pinheiro is coming up, right? That's going to kind of decide where they stand. Angela Hill. A lot of girls at the bottom still holding this division up, A lot of these girls being, just little stepping stones now. So got to make way for the girls like Hughes and Amorim and what is her name? Denise Gomes, she need to work. That's just honesty right there. Fatima Klein, yeah, Fatima Klein. Fatima Klein's got a fight coming up too, so I'm ready to see some fighters like that. But who do y'all got in this? So I got Amorim, man, by destruction. I ain't even gonna play, man. I think Amorim will come in here and try to rip an arm off. This is my prediction, which probably means it'll be in the first round. How you gonna tell me I'm spamming in the comments? What the crap? Wow, you can't even use that word in the comment section? That is crazy. This is my channel. Destruction can't be used? That's crazy, man. How about this? Wow, that is crazy, man. I can't. Destruction is a bad word. Well, Two Beast used it. It didn't reject his. I don't know. Whatever. Jacqueline versus Loopy. Yeah, if she wins this fight, yeah, we can move up the ladder. That wouldn't be a bad fight. But yeah, I like Jacqueline's jiu-jitsu. More I just kind of look at her now and how she's been developing. So yeah, I'm gonna go with her. I'm gonna go with her in this fight. All right, this bantamweight fight we got coming up. Shout out the coach, man. I was listening to his video on this, and I don't know, man. Like, to me, Chelsea Chandler and Jocelyn Edwards, they could go either way, because sometimes Jocelyn, she don't fight to the level that she could be at, Like, I think Chelsea has a little bit more power and tendency to want to land bigger shots and even have that ground game. Whereas I think Jocelyn does just enough to point fight sometimes to win a fight. Jocelyn came out working in that last fight against Tamiris Vidal. But the big fight that she had against Eileen Perez, there was some good takedowns in that fight from her. But I didn't see that urgency. Eileen Perez, she kind of talked up the little PI incident to the point where you was like, oh man, like Jocelyn Edwards, she gangster like that. She fighting like that, but she didn't bring none of that energy into that actual fight. The fight after that she did. Maybe she realized she got to fight for her career. But like I said, sometimes Jocelyn Edwards, she looked like she got power, and she got a good stand-up game, but I just don't get the feeling that Edwards is fighting to dominate girls. She just kind of goes through the motions. And I think this fight might sit better for like Chelsea to kind of get into a groove and put more pressure and fight harder. Because the Yana fight, Yana Santos was big. Yana striking and movement was better than Chelsea's in that fight. Landing a lot of body kicks and moving and hitting hard. But this fight here, I don't think, Jocelyn Edwards really brings that type of power. And all you got to do really in the past I've seen is take Jocelyn down and put her on her back. And I think Chelsea's got a good ground game to do that. Yeah, Jocelyn gets taken down a lot. I'm going to name the fighters that taking her down. Who? Let me see. She lost to Nora Cornell. I remember Jessica Rose Clark took her down. Carol Rosa took her down. Kind of beat her up too, man. Had her bleeding. Yeah, because Jessica Rose Clark and Carol Rosa, I remember them two fights. They took her down, and that was it. They took her down every round. Like Jessica Rose Clark, it was a boring fight. Jessica Rose Clark more of a boxer too. Jess, she likes to box more. But she took her down, and that was it. Took her down every round. Jocelyn Edwards just accepted bottom position, right? Eileen Perez took her down. I think she took Eileen Perez down a few times. You thought she beat Nora Cornell. Yeah, I got to watch that fight again. But, hey, still an L. Still an L. You know what I mean? Because it's just like she leave too much room for questioning. Right. How is Jessica Rose Clark going to take you down? Which she did constantly in that fight. So I go on Instagram and see Jocelyn Edwards. She part of the camp with Valentina. I'm like, every time I see it, I'm like, okay, maybe something's gonna be different. Maybe something will be different this time. But nope, nope, same thing all the time. All the time. So honestly, I can see Chelsea winning this fight, man. I'm gonna be honest, man, because I don't know if Jocelyn Edwards got that type of power. And if she gets taken down, and you know, Chelsea's big. Yeah, look, that's the question. Let's see if they both make weight. This might be a 140 fight, you know, because they can get up there about to featherweight. Used to fighting it. Well, Chelsea's used to fighting at featherweight, so we'll see if they can get down. But I don't know. To me, it's up in the air here, but I think Chelsea could get this one because I think not having to worry about that power ground game. You know, I think she has the skills to put pressure on Jocelyn and maybe even outwork her or even just control her on the ground. To be said they'll both come in overthinking. They'll both come in over. I'm thinking. I got you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think it will be some good moments in it. I think this fight it shouldn't be boring though. It shouldn't be boring. I'm hoping it's not. Last few fights haven't been boring like that. All right. All right. But yeah, that's all that's going on this weekend as far as fights. Let's see. What else? What else? Oh, okay, okay. Hold on. Let's talk about Amanda here. Yeah, Mark says it really is a coin toss for me. It really is a coin toss for that fight. Okay. But since we talking bantamweight, let's talk about the return of Amanda Nunes, man. Like, really, really, when it came down to it, I was like, oh, you know what, Amanda, you ain't gone. You ain't gone. I thought it was wise for her to stay gone. You know, with all the talk of damaged legs and so on, and not really like looking the best in the last fights. You know, with Pena, well, she got finished by Pena, and of course, she dominated Pena in the second fight, 50-45, but she still took some shots of her own in that fight, right? So maybe she was thinking, I just need some time off. You know, maybe I need a little bit of time off to recover. And now that she's seeing like the situation's looking good as far as money and Kayla Harrison's there. And you know, really, when you think about it, that's what she was waiting for. I think Nunes probably felt like I don't really have the hunger in me to keep fighting other girls that don't make any sense. You know, you know, when you think about it, yeah, like that retirement was just a lie because think about it. Nunes already beat everybody, right? Nunes pretty much beat everybody. Then she gets her belt back from Pena. Who was she gonna fight again? Fight Holly again? Fight Rocky again? No, she didn't want to do that. Fight. She would just wind up fighting the same girls. You know, Ketlin was never really ready. Macy Chiasson had some injuries. Norma Dumont was not even up there. Kayla Harrison wasn't even up there at the time. You know, she didn't want to fight Juliana Pena a third time because the Juliana Pena fight didn't really make sense again for her to make that fight a third time. I mean, it probably would have been fun to watch, but she was probably like, I ain't giving her that satisfaction. Right. So she was just like, all right, I'm going to let these other girls fight and see how it turns out. So she did that and everything played out. So it played out. Kayla's there. And if Kayla wins, you know, that's really what's going to make sense for her. But she put herself in that position to say, you know what, I'll fight Juliana Pena too. So either way, she was going to come back, right? She was going to come back. It just had to look somewhat decent. And in my opinion, you know, I think that the Kayla fight is probably like the only fight that she should be coming back for at this point. So I'm sure she's hoping that, you know. she kind of had to put that out there too. Yeah, yeah. Ravioli said it. She's already expecting Kayla to win, but let's say if Kayla loses, she probably went on and just said, I'll do Pena fight too, because she don't want to look like she's scared to fight Pena as well, right? And she'll probably feel like it's gonna be easy work anyway. So she's just like, you know what? I'll come back and fight her too. She was like, I fought her 2 times, so why not? And sometimes I'd be thinking, like Dana White's probably like, man, Amanda has to come back and be in the mix because the bantamweight division is so dry, right? He probably like, oh man, like this is boring. We need Amanda back here. So I don't know. Like Amanda's coming back, I think is definitely driven by money, but I think there's probably that agreement too. Like, oh, you know what? We'll go ahead and put you in the Hall of Fame. Just to kind of sweeten the deal. Like you come back, now. We'll go ahead. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame anyway. But it's probably like, oh, you know what? We're going to announce all of that just to make it look really good now. And she was like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely coming back now. So now it makes her feel a little bit more secure, legacy-wise and financial. But what about you? I know Nunes Pena 3 would be like another war. Do y'all want to see Nunes Pena 3? Or do y'all just prefer it to be Kayla? Like, will y'all be mad if Kayla loses the Pena fight? I think BJ, of course, he'll be popping bottles. He'll be celebrating if Pena wins, because then that'll give him that third war with Nunes, right? But a lot of people want to see Kayla in there with Nunes, which me preferably, I'd like to see that too, man. I want to see that style matchup now. I want to see that style matchup. I want to go ahead and see. I want to see, because I know when that fight is being made, there's going to be some things that come out, because they seem to not, they don't really seem to like each other. Like Kayla and Nunes, there's something like about these two that they don't really like each other more. Like I think Pena, when her and Nunes go back and forth, it's more of like, just stage antics and things like that. Pena's always talking trash, but it seems to be like some genuine dislike between Nunes and Kayla for whatever reason. I want to hear whatever it is, either if that fight happens. 2B said he wants Pena Nunes. Okay. He said he wants Pena Nunes 3. You must want to see Nunes Thrasher again. Sage said, I'm just trying to see Shevchenko Nunes 3. That has to be a belt. That has to be for a belt. So of course I'm hoping Nunes wins and Shevchenko moves up. If Valentina loses, I wonder if she would still move up. I don't think that would ever happen anymore. Really, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that would happen at this point. You see, Nunes would win, but I think Kayla would put up a good fight. Really tough to say, man. Because Juliana Pena, she did make it competitive the first fight, but I mean, she stood her ground against some of the best shots from Pena. Pena did stand some of the best shots from Nunes. Like Pena's kind of a different animal when it comes to shots like that. But this Kayla got that type of grit. Kayla's big. Kayla's massive, but has Kayla been hit by them things before? Has Kayla been hit by them things that feel like a truck? Like Misha Tate said, she said Nunes hit like a truck. I mean, the proof is in the damage that she's done to fighters like Kat Zingano. And I think she's done that same damage to Pena, but Pena just takes it a little bit better. The way Pena was getting dropped in that fight and the way Rocky dropped her, I think that damage carried over. So my question is, can Kayla take that type of, U-Haul truck hitting her 16 times, 20 times around? Kayla looks discombobulated when she gets hit hard. Kayla can take damage. She won't be out quick. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if she been. I don't know if she can take damage like that. Has she been wobbled? Did Pacheco wobble her? I don't know if Pacheco wobbled her, but Pacheco kind of woke her up. If I can remember, like there was a couple shots that Pacheco landed that kind of made Kayla go, whoa, you know what I mean? She could take damage. I don't know. Like when I was looking at like the elbows she took from Ketlin, but I'm talking about this type of power though. Cause I ain't gonna lie, man, like Pena, I was waiting for her to drop even in the second fight. Like I was like, dang, is Pena really taking Amanda Nunes punches like this? You know, she took some bad punches even in that second fight. I'm like, dang, Nunes, you ain't knock her out yet. This girl giving you her chin and she's still coming. I was like, yo, Pena's crazy. You know, Pena got that I don't know, Pena got that what do you call it? That caveman head or something, man. She got that Neanderthal skull because she just kept on coming. Like her brain was telling her, man, this hurts, but it's like we don't know what hurt means, you know. Juliana Pena's like, dude, we don't know what hurt means. She's probably like, what's hurt? We don't know. We just gonna keep coming. That's why it's hard to learn defense for Pena because I'm not making fun. I'm just saying, like, that's how Pena does, man. Like her head probably be thumping, but she just keeps coming. Just keep on coming. Shoot, if I took a couple of shots from a man, I'd be like, oh, let me stop for a second. Let me rethink how I'm gonna get in here, you know? Not her. Not her. And I think that's how the frustration comes in. So even looking at Pena versus Harrison, like if Kayla chooses to strike, I don't think Kayla's gonna like knock Pena out. She could knock her down, but I don't see Pena getting knocked out by Kayla Harrison. None, no strikes whatsoever. None whatsoever going to put her down like that and just keep her out. If Amanda couldn't knock her out, no, she couldn't. But Kayla could submit her. Kayla could submit her and maybe stop her on the ground. Like if the blood is that thick and the referee feels the need to stop it. And remember, you know, to get Pena out of there, you got to stop her. You got to put her to sleep. I don't know about wobble, but Pacheco backed her up. Yeah, she woke her up. Yeah, yep. I thought she did. Sage said that's why I'm hoping Pena wins. She's got crazy heart, and you know the crowd pop. Oh, the crowd pops are going to be crazy by round 5 if Kayla's gassed. I think and that's the thing I would like if Pena. I want Pena to stay in the fight long enough to make it like a good, solid fight of the night, like a throwback too, man. Like Pena fights like a throwback fighter. I ain't gonna lie, man. Pena fight like one of these old boxers that I watch, you know, and girls still come in there messed up, wanting to fight, and that brings for action. As much as I want to see her improving her defense, you know, she does make a good throwback fighter in there. Like she's a pretty good throwback fighter. Like I don't know why people don't like her. Well, I mean, I know why, but everybody act like Pena's a bad, like Pena's entertaining, you know? Like think about it, man. Juliana Pena's entertaining. Like people don't know what they want though. That's why I can't stand fans sometimes. Y'all don't know what y'all want because one minute you say somebody like Carlos Esparza is boring. You can't appreciate Carlos Esparza. Oh, she's boring. And yeah, she's kind of boring. Like, yeah, but I appreciate her. Like, I mean, she did have one of the worst fights against Rose Namajunas. That was a bad fight, right? But then you got somebody like Juliana Pena who be talking trash, the complete opposite of Carla. You know, she be talking trash. She'll bleed. She'll make her opponents bleed, right? She'll do all of this work to make fights exciting, but you still complain. You know, that's why I don't get it. Like, that's why if Pena's fighting to me, I'm gonna watch. I don't care. I'm gonna watch it. Like, You know, I don't like any other fighter to the point of me hating another fighter. Let me put it that way. I think I said that before, but yeah, like Pena could be fighting the fighter I really like, and I'm gonna be like, yo, I know Pena gonna bring a good fight. Pena's always gonna bring a good fight. The only reason they don't like us because the only reason they don't like her is because she was across the cage from Amanda. Before that, nobody hated Juliana Pena. um, Pena is entertaining on the mic, and she's always in a fight. Yeah, yeah. The only reason they didn't like her is because she was across the cage from Amanda talking smack. It has nothing to do with what she does in the cage. Before that, everybody liked Juliana Pena. Did they? Did they really? Like, I'm trying to. I never really, because I had people hit me up say they didn't like Juliana Pena before the fight, and no, man, like even whenever she was in the Tough House, remember people didn't like her back then. They kind of saw her as the villain. Back in the 2013, even when she was coming up back then, people didn't really like her. I was one of the ones that was a fan of her in the Tough House. I was like, why don't they like her? Like, I like this girl. Seemed like everybody was always kind of on that hate train with her, even back then, you know. But like I said, I don't have no problem with nobody that's coming to fight. She's always been in there fighting. Yeah, she's been getting hate for a while. I thought, man, like I thought, yeah, Rocky was her biggest hater. Rocky was her biggest hater in there. So yeah. Yeah, eventually, yeah, we were talking about her earlier. Yeah, yeah, Dakota will be in the UFC at some point. You know, you know, not this year though. Not this year. Has Rocky got a fight lined up? I don't think so, but I'm hoping they line her up with Norma Dumont at some point. That's the fight that makes sense, right? That would be good. But yeah, with Nunes coming back in the mix, I think it'll be for this fight and maybe one other fight. So the girls, they got to stay on their game. Um, Even Norma, I know she might try to target a fight with Amanda at some point. So she gotta keep getting ready, stay ready. Never know what could happen in this situation coming up. So some of these fighters got to be making it known, like, hey, I'll be the backup if need be, right? Because you never know what's gonna happen. Like, I'm just praying for Kayla, man. I'm praying that she's close to her weight now. I know it's a little bit of ways. I mean, I just hope that she's staying somewhere in the 150, 147 range. That might be asking for a lot, but so when you come down to that last few weeks in May, you might only have to cut like a 10 or 5 pound thing, so we'll see. Norma versus Eileen Perez. Let me see. Norma versus Eileen Perez. If Norma and Rocky can't do it, maybe. Yeah. I just think that Norma needs to shoot higher. Yeah, definitely. All right. So speaking of that, man, we got, let's see, Grasso and Silva coming up December 10th, right? I mean, excuse me, May 10th. Sorry, May 10th. I don't know why December right there popped up. Okay. Yeah, May 10th. Man, time is flying, man. Time is flying here. And the more I just kind of look at the round by round that I did, I definitely think that's going to be a good competitive fight here. I look at some explosive moments, but as far as anybody getting stopped in this fight, it's really hard to say because I see Silva as being more responsible when it comes to putting herself out there. She doesn't overcommit. That's what I noticed when I did the round by round the other night. I don't know if you noticed that, BJ, when you was in there. When I did the round by round, you notice like Silva, she does enough just to win rounds. And even sometimes with her jab, like I thought her jab was more of just like a range finder, like a feeler. She wasn't trying to overcommit to a jab. It was just like the kind of, flick a jab out there to throw Arujo off. But her main weapon is her kicks, which could be a gift and a curse, because I think Grasso is more prone to body kicks, and she'd be hit with some head kicks here and there, even if they are partially blocked. But the curse would come in is because you're not having a variety. And like I was saying too the other night in round by round is, Grasso has really, really good timing. So if Grasso starts to time kicks, she could catch a kick, go for a takedown, catch a kick, land the right hand, or time a kick and just throw her long jab down the middle. Because, Arujo did land some good long jabs when she would let him go. So I think that Silva showed a good IQ as far as just staying responsible and not overcommitting, but I got to see a little bit more variety going into the fight with Grasso. That's why I say I don't see her getting any type of stoppage. I think she needs that commitment to avoid being robbed. She's got to go in this fight with commitment to dominate. Because remember, like I was telling y'all too, now that this fight and the Aaron and Macy fight is happening, I am listening. I hear some of y'all saying like that fight might be the title eliminator, and that's probably what it's going to come down to. It's probably going to come down to who looks the best out of these two fights. Grasso Silva, Macy and Aaron, whoever looks the best out of these fights. Because you know how Dana do, man. If you come in there doing a bare minimum and the crowd is booing, let's say if Grasso or Silva, let's say if they both were in there just, oh, okay, we just gonna do just enough to win, and they both dancing around. Or let's say Silva going to back foot, she just dancing around, crowd starts booing, and then they say Silva by decision. Dana White gonna be like, man, hold off on that. Hold the freak off on that. We're gonna see what Aaron and Macy look like first. Had Natalia Silva went in there in 30-27 Grasso and beat her down, give her a title shot, right? But if she come in there just doing just enough and he sees that, he going to be like, wait a minute. Let's see what Aaron and Macy look like first. And let's say if Aaron go in there and submit Macy, or Macy go in there and knock out Aaron, he going to be like, all right, there's our next challenger. That person's going to fight the winner of Valentina and Manon. Right? That's kind of how I see it. That's how I see that situation going. So they got to look good. They got to look good in this fight. So that's just one thing I was taking away from the Mayra Bueno Silva, the Natalia Silva fight in Viviane Araújo. I think that, Silva, I want to see her use her IQ. I definitely want to see her use her IQ, but I want to see her commit a little bit more to make it easier for the judges, to not rob her or anything like that. So I don't want to see anybody with the stink face like they didn't know why they lost. You know what I mean? So somebody's got to take over in this fight. Sergio said, I don't think Aaron is going to look good against Macy. Ravioli said, agreed, because on paper, Macy and Aaron both are ahead of Silva. Yeah, on paper, they are. So he could go by that. He could make that excuse. Yeah, whoever looks the best. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at it. BJ said Silva's too timid and jumpy. Man, like, yeah, I don't say she's timid. I think it's more of a cautious thing. Like, I like to say cautious because I don't like to say timid like she's afraid to get hit. I think it's more overly cautious. And jumpy, yeah, definitely jumpy because that jumpiness is it's kind of costing her a chance to land a good combination too. You know what I mean? Like that's why I like to see some fighters, make subtle movements. That's kind of where her and Manon differ. Manon, she will get hit. Like, you don't mind getting hit. Like, which ain't always something I recommend, but even whenever she was in that Aaron fight, to get some of her best shots off, she didn't mind getting hit. She was like, okay, Aaron, come in, hit me. I'm gonna land something better, and then I'm gonna throw her around. I'm gonna clinch her after that and kind of toss her to the side. So, Manon's gone on the back foot, but Manon will stand her ground more in a fight. Like, you will see Natalya move a little too much. Like, I don't mind when a fighter uses lateral movement, but don't take away your own opportunities of a knockout. All right? Like, don't take away your own opportunities when you could have scored a knockout early or beaten somebody to a pulp. That's one thing, I always liked about Joanna's style. Like, I don't recommend getting the football head like Joanna now. But if you got hand speed, use that hand speed. If you got speed, use it offensively sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, use that hand speed, use it offensively. Don't be afraid. Go in there, and if you faster, turn that into some speed. Turn that speed into a weapon. Don't run all the time. Like, it's good that, it's good to move. I'm all about defense, but my thing is, if you got it, you got it, man. Go ahead and use it. Ravioli said footwork is good, but at some point it becomes wasted movement. Right. Arujo used to do that. Like, I remember, like, Arujo's first couple of fights, she lost to Jessica I because she was doing all this movement. And by the second round, she was gassed. So when you fighting a tough boxer like Grasso, don't be up in there using too much movement, because Grasso is a fighter. She's built like one of them boxers that she can wade through the storm. She can take a shot. Grasso had knocked out a lot of people or finished a lot of people, but she ain't getting finished like that either. Like, how many people have finished Grasso? I think about it. How many people did finish? I got to give her credit here. Just Tatiana Suarez, right? I think Suarez, right? Suarez was the only fighter that finished it, right? Yep. Suarez is the only fight that finished it. So with that, I know going 14 rounds now with Valentina, she's going to come in here with a different energy. She's going to come in here with a different energy to say, I've been here before. I know what it feels like to be in there with the best fighters. And she's going to get a read on somebody. So got to be careful too, man. Like, as important as it is to avoid shots, you can't make it known that you're trying to avoid a fight either. Like, you in there for a fight. You in there for a fight. Again, I'm not saying be stupid and reckless, but you got to make your point known by standing your ground every now and then, or just taking one to give two, taking two to give 3 or 4 or 5, especially if you got the speed. Just give it. Even with your hands, pop, move. Don't just move. That's what I want to see from Natalya in this fight. That's why I'm saying, as we get closer and closer to it, I know my boxing fundamentals. I know Grasso, man, like, she can still make this a fight. She'll still make this a fight the best that she can. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see where I stand with it by the next couple of weeks. Might do a little keys to victory on it, because I want to do another round by round, even on Grasso, how she fought Arujo. Let me see. BJ, you still got plans to go live on your round by round? Axel said, I'm worried about the quality of the footwork of Grasso, her lack of capacity to apply good pressure and fight at kicking range. That's why I think Silva's got it. Okay, good point. Good point. Especially with the broken leg, too. This ain't a good fight to come back from the broken leg. Let's be honest. This ain't the best fight to come back from when you facing the fast kicker coming back from a broken leg. Oh, no. Let's see. You say James said can't say Silva's avoiding the fight. She just moves a lot and she's fast, but she throws too. Yeah, she throws. She definitely throws. But there's some good moments in there where she could end fights. There's some good moments in there where she could have ended a fight. I just like to see when a fighter is able to go in there and if they know that speed is already a problem, they take, man. You look at fighters like Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao seen dudes knowing they were outgunned. He put that work on him, man. He started working. Speed is, it becomes offense, especially if you got the best of them. Easy, what's up? He says Silva might finish Grasso. I keep seeing it. Okay. He said he keeps seeing it. I wouldn't mind seeing it either. I mean, as far as just like a good fight, and hey. Yeah, she doesn't necessarily go for the finish at the risk of getting caught. That's my thing. Look, don't go for the finish, but if it's there, you take it. And I've seen it multiple times, man. Like when she dropped Arujo in that fight, when I was doing that round by round the other day, and she dropped Arujo, she dropped her with a left hook. You remember that? And she got back up and she let her recover. I was like, man, set that thing up again. Set it up with a combination. If it never came, don't take it. But if you dropped her, go ahead and take that opportunity. Go ahead and get this, get the stoppage. Like you ain't got to go for it, especially if you're dealing with some of the best fighters. That's why I say when she has fought some fighters and beat them by decision, I give her credit. But when I go back and look at some of these rounds, I'm like, hey, you might drag this out a little too long. Like you might want to go ahead and finish this person. And then like even in the last couple of rounds, like you might not want to move that much now because you don't want to overexert yourself. You think Grasso might come out aggressive? Ravioli said, what did Grasso do that made Valentina not want to kick? And will that work against him? Okay. What did Grasso do that made Valentina not want to kick? I think her overhand left, or that straight left hand that she was landing. I even think her right hand. I think the boxing range that Grasso was in when Valentina would try to throw a kick, like the first fight, she was kind of worried about the counterpunch that would come back. Right? I'm gonna go back and look at that fight, man. Like, yeah, because that first fight, I think it was the way Grasso was kind of sliding in and out, Ravioli. That's why she threw like a couple body kicks, but after a while, like whenever Grasso would kind of slide in and that right hook would hit her or that right jab or that left hand, it kind of made Valentina not want to throw too many kicks. So, Valentina went on the outside and started landing jabs, and that's where you saw Valentina had a good jab when she committed. It made Valentina adjust. You know what I mean? That's what I liked about that fight because I was like, oh, man, like, look at Valentina. She's throwing more jabs this fight because if she throw them kicks from that mid-range, she won't get caught with that right hook again, And then in the second fight, similar things kind of played out. And that one she got rolled, though. I'm just saying, like, I'm always going to call that out, man. That right hook, like, Valentina rolled, man. She rolled like a tumbleweed, man, out in Arizona. They got tumbleweeds out in Arizona. I don't know, one of them hot states, one of them hot, dry states, Valentina was rolling like a tumbleweed. So them kicks had to be put on pause until she could make certain adjustments. That's why she started going for more takedowns. But Natalia Silva a little bit quicker. I think Natalia Silva is safer by throwing calf kicks. Her light calf kick, switching stances, and then moving. And the more she moves, the more Grasso will struggle to really plant her feet. See, remember too, like Valentina is a little bit more flat-footed than Natalia Silva. Natalia Silva gonna be moving, so Grasso really won't get too much leverage to land heavy punches. That's the thing why Grasso, they got comfortable on the inside, because they saw Valentina was a little bit more flat-footed. Valentina don't move like Silva, so she didn't have to reset. She could plant her feet to land heavy shots on Valentina, but here she gonna have to play that reset game unless she lands early and she chooses to take Silva down. So I don't know, man. What do y'all think? Do y'all think Grasso need to be a wrestler in this fight or stick to being a boxer? That's a question for y'all before I jump to this next fight. Easy said, I got Dakota because she knows how to use her height and will. Who y'all talking about fight? Oh, Silva versus Dakota. Ooh, man, the more and more I look at Dakota striking, tell y'all, I've just been watching now. I don't know, Easy. Dakota kind of remind me. She gonna be like, the more I watch Dakota, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm seeing her now. I'm seeing things she's doing now and how she was able to do it to certain people. Dakota might be like a Vladimir Klitschko in this division, Easy E. There might be some girls that she bust them up and she drop them, man. Like, Vladimir Klitschko, he had some kinks in his armor. He had a weak chin and some stamina problems, but Emmanuel Stewart had him fighting like a big man. And once you know how to fight like a big man, that's a wrap. Like Lennox Lewis. And, like Dakota Ditcheva, she fighting like a big woman. There's a lot of women that are big, but they can't fight big. Just like men. There's a lot of big men out there. You could go out there and chin check them now. They don't know how to fight. I know a lot of guys like that, huge, they can't fight. But when a big man knows how to fight, oh, man. So imagine a big woman that knows how to use her size. Like Megan Anderson, she could knock some girls out, but, still wasn't like this scary giant. Dakota, pushing 5'10", 5'9", and she can fight, and she got heavy hands. The better her takedown defense gets too, man, Dakota, she might be like a little Vladimir Klitschko in the flyweight division, man. So, and she hit hard to that body, man. I'm just saying, I'm studying her, and I'm looking at what she's capable of. Yeah. Shannon Briggs, big for nothing. Exactly, man. Exactly. I'm telling you, Colosseum, that body work from Dakota needs to be studied. If I meet her, I want her to hit me in the stomach. I want to say, hit me one time, Dakota. I want to see how hard you hit. And if that jump put me down, I'm going to tell y'all. I'm like, hey, hit me one time right here in the ribs. And that'll tell me if I need to go back and do more sit-ups. Every girl needs to be on notice. They need to be hitting that medicine ball. They need to be on they need to be on some hardcore workouts. Yeah, Megan wasted potential as a big woman, man. Like, there's a lot of fighters out there that are big for nothing. And Dakota, she's big for something. Okay? Like, I wasn't on y'all's bandwagon that's calling her the greatest fighter of all time. I'm not on that bandwagon, okay? I'm on the bandwagon that her punches are scary for a woman in this WMMA world. I mean, and we've seen Chris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes, but flyweight-wise, I ain't seen no flyweight hitting like her. Valentina has a mixture of, smarts, counter-striking, intelligence. Manon, she's got her speed. She knows how to turn punches over. She gets the job done. She's got her strength. Rose, she's a boxer. Her and Grasso, they're cute boxers where they, they get those little cute movements and precision. But Dakota, man, that girl's got a mixture of like, good punching mechanics and heavy hands too, and a good body attack. Really good body attack. Yeah, a lot of these women don't have that type of body work. Like everybody want to aim for heads, but even then, some of your headshots ain't really clean like that. But the way she hits to the body, man, I don't know, man. I might have to do a breakdown. This is quick as her fights are. I could probably put all her fights into one video and just show like how she throw her punches to the body. And compare it to some boxers, because it's sick like that, man. It is. Yeah, she ain't even loading up Ravioli. Like she ain't pulling back. Like she's not pulling back. It's all in how she generates from her hips and where she's hitting you too. Where she's targeting. She's targeting the right places, because a lot of these women ain't been hit in them places before. Even with men, some men haven't been hit like that. But imagine some of these women who are kind of soft there in the middle anyway. So yeah. Yeah. My original question. Oh yeah, 2B said wrestle, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 2B said turn into a wrestler. All right, turn into a wrestler for Grasso. Yeah. She might have to do a little bit of both. In there. I think so. All right. So and this is the main event for us, right? This is the main event for us. We got the Bullet versus the Beast coming up. This is another fight too, man, where I think, we're going to need to see a couple of different things, on both sides here. I think that Valentina is going to have to stick to what she's been doing now in her, in her last few fights of being uncomfortable, but just pulling out some of her old tricks that she's already had, like, her basic wrestling, her slipping right hook, and not being too cute in there. Don't worry about the fancy stuff. I think Valentina's got to be more than focused in this fight, because there's a lot to go off of now. There's a lot to go off of with Valentina. Valentina's last 4 fights were pretty rough. Well, no, not the last 4 fights, but 3 fights. 3 fights before the Grasso fight. We haven't really seen her in that type of trouble before. So I think that when you look at somebody like Manon on her side, there's got to be some uncomfortable things that have to be done. Is do a little bit of what Tyler's done, do some of the things that Grasso's done. Use your size, be a little bit more willing to fight in the mid range, to land a couple of your right hooks from the southpaw stance. Look to push the pace of the fight. Don't ever let Valentina, get into the rhythm of being the what's the word I'm looking for? Don't let her lead. Don't let her be the leader in this fight, where you just sit back and wait for her to throw 1 or 2, and then you throw, because once you let her get off, whether she misses or not, she's reset, and when you throw, she's countering you, or she's taking you down. So I think footwork wise, jabbing wise, Manon's she's got to lead that pace. She's got to lead that pace and build the lead every round, because that's the thing that, Valentina gets frustrated about. Whenever somebody builds a lead on her, or, they start hitting her more, like, it kind of takes her out of her comfort zone. It takes her out of her comfort zone. And, Grasso showed that, like, she's not invincible. And that's where a lot of fighters get mixed up. Like, I did videos on this before. I was like, Valentina's a good fighter. One of the best fighters is because she covers all these grounds. Like, it takes work. Nobody comes in perfect, and she's still not perfect, So there's a point in these fights where they just have to say, okay, well, I'm not the well-rounded fighter, but what is it about my fighting style that I could use to disrupt her? Because that's what Grasso did. Grasso didn't come in trying to be the best all around. She just said, "All right, I'm the better boxer," right? And then eventually, other things fell in line. Like she didn't try to match Valentina's Muay Thai. She came in with her footwork, boxing, and it worked. And then eventually, the jiu-jitsu came in, right? It worked. So I think, what Manon has to do is something similar, but also use her physical strength, use her size, and make it count. Don't be big for nothing. Don't be big for nothing, man. Sergio said, I can see this fight being boring. I don't see it being it's not going to be a firefight. It is not going to be a firefight. I think it's going to be a tense type of chess match, but it's definitely not going to be. It'll lean more towards boring than it will. I'm not going in with Irene Aldana, Kiara Rosa expectations, Sergio. I already, no. Like I'm more hyped about the chess match that we're coming to see. Like when I'm watching Floyd and Manny fight, I was coming in for the chess match, whereas everybody else thought there's going to be some fight where Manny knocks Floyd out. That's why they were so mad. I'm already going in with the mindset to say I'm sitting down watching a chess match. You know what I mean? Ravioli said, am I the only one who feels like Manon could do more? Like she fights to the level of her competition. I think, yeah, I think she could do more. What fight was I talking? I don't know if you missed the other show, BJ. No. I mean, Ravioli, I don't know if you missed the other show I did with BJ. Who was I talking to? Was it Easy or BJ? Well, anyways, yeah, I'm always critiquing, man. Like, I thought she could have finished Rose. I'm gonna bring it up again. Like, I thought she could have finished Rose. Like, that was a fight I thought she could have did more in. Like, even after that headbutt came into play, like the first time I saw Manon clinch Rose and how strong she was, I was like, finish her. You know what I mean? It was like the opportunity was there. Again, like, you don't have to chase the opportunity, but if it's there and you bigger and stronger. And when she hit her in the body with some good knees, I was like, there you go. Get her out of there. Because she was winning the striking battle. Okay. But when Rose tried to take her down and, she counters a clinch with her own clinch and she lands that knee to the body, man, that knee to the body kind of did some damage to Rose. So I was like, all right, keep it going. Rose doesn't really take them shots to the gut that well. So that always I could see room for some improvement there, to get fighters out of there. But on the plus side, if you don't see it coming yourself, that's me from the outside looking in. But if you don't see it, I mean, hey, get the victory, keep it moving. Yeah, she could have punished Aaron more. Like, she could have knocked Aaron out. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, like she could have knocked Aaron out. Yeah. But that's the thing too. Like, I think there comes a point where, which could be dangerous, is if you get comfortable in there doing you, and opportunity there is the opportunity is there to finish that person. You need to go ahead and take it, because that person might recover and bounce back. Being in there with Aaron 5 rounds was kind of dangerous. Like, Aaron was game to be knocked out. Like, I wanted, like, no, I love Aaron, but if Manon had knocked her out, I would have been like, okay, that's what you got to do. Easy said, I wanted Manny to finish Floyd so bad, I was mad. I knew that wasn't happening. Easy. Everybody thought Manny was going to win that fight. I was like, everybody going to see. Like, this fight is what, 6 years, 7 years too late. But I was like, Floyd has still got way more than enough. I kept thinking this. I kept thinking Floyd was going to knock Manny out like Marquez. Easy. But then I was like, Floyd's right hand ain't the same. The power is not there. Yeah. Axel said, do you have insight on Valentina's training camp? Not really. I've seen a little bit here and there and heard a little bit here and there, Axel. I know she'd be out there doing a lot of promoting right now. I hope she's focused, though. I'm just saying. Sergio said, I'm thinking that Valentina is going to win this fight. One, Manon leaves more openings in the striking than Valentina. Yeah, I definitely think Valentina is more so defensively sound when you compare the two. So there's going to have to be some difference in there, like what you've seen in the past. There's going to have to be some tighten up things on Manon's side, like even her movement. You're going to have to see some things that are different than before, like even how Grasso chose to box. Like Grasso was a little bit tighter in her guard, and she switched her stance up. That was the one thing that threw me off, because I was like, oh, her regular boxing, it's not going to beat Valentina. I was like, Valentina's going to take her down. But when Grasso switched stances, it was a whole different ball game, So changes got to be made when you fighting Valentina in a striking battle. You got to make some changes. Like every striker that comes in the fighter has to kind of have some type of change. Like you can't come in these last few fights looking the same, because they are studying. Valentina's, they're studying this game. Put a poll in this chat. I can't put one in here. If I done OBS, I'd be able to put up a excuse me, I'd be able to put up a poll, but StreamYard still doesn't let you do that, Colostrum. So I can't. Let me see. All right. I don't see a poll here. I don't see like the poll. They never added one. Yeah, they never did like well, OBS always had one. I just don't like OBS sometimes because it's too delayed. Yeah, Axel said, I don't think Manon needs to do some changes in her striking. I think she does defensive wise. I think she's got to be tighter on her defense. Got to be responsible in her defense, especially, this ain't Chikagan. Valentina's going to be looking to set up things. So I think there's got to be some defensively responsible things made. No pullbacks. Pullback in boxing is okay, but even then, pullback in boxing isn't something I would teach. You ain't Floyd Mayweather, you ain't Muhammad Ali, so don't be pulling back. I've seen guys get pulled back and get knocked out. So I'm just saying, look, don't pull back from no head kick. And if you do, that hand better be up. Once you throw a combination, your hand needs to be up. After throwing a combination, you need to return that hand right to that chin, or you will pay. I'm just saying, I'm watching these tapes sometimes with all fighters. I'm like, hey, I don't know if that pullback is good. You might want to dip. Somebody going to try to, be fancy, throw a head kick, get ready to parry it at least. Or, you better level change. Right? So, yeah. But, yeah, on that note, man, we're right around the corner. I think we got a good card coming up. I don't have that picture up here. Let's see. Jessica and I'll probably talk about that later. We'll talk about Jessica and we'll talk about Jessica and Jasmine later. I still got a few weeks out. But yeah. Yes. Easy said pull counters rely on your opponent being predictable. Use with caution. Right. If your opponent is known for mixing it up, and they get a good read, I wouldn't do it. Gotta be very, very careful there. Tay said Jessica needs to go. Do y'all think Jessica goes if Jasmine beats her and Jasmine like destroys her? Will Andrade get cut? Let's see. Yeah, I wish I could do some polls in this StreamYard thing. Would Andrade get cut if Jasmine beats? Here's a question for y'all. Will Andrade get cut if Jasmine wins? If she wins decisively? If she wins decisively, man, like can she keep her career afloat? That is going to be a problem because I I don't know. Let me see. Andrade. Okay, Andrade would have been cut if she didn't fight in two divisions. 2B said he's not down for Jessica getting cut yet. Ah, man. if she continue to be a danger to herself, I am. But if she looks decent, let me see, 26-13 now. She did crack the 3-fight losing streak with a knockout over Dern. She beat Rodriguez barely. Then she loses Natalia Silva. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to see her become a doormat. I don't want to see her become two things, a doormat or a vegetable. Close would say, do you think the winner of this fight will rule the division, or do you see someone else as a big threat to either? It's really hard to see anybody holding the belt right now at flyweight because I think that the styles are so much more well-rounded, and the girls seem so much more tougher and willing to exchange. And Valentina was defending against like Lauren Murphy and Kagan. She dominated those girls, man. Like she dominated them, and it always kind of balanced out when they fought each other, right? But when a new girl comes along here at 125, it seems a little bit more battle. They seem a little bit more battle ready. Like I think how many? Let me see who. I think Manon could get, if Manon was to win this fight, she could at least defend at least 2 times. And I think she would move up 2 or 3 times and maybe move up. Because I'm trying to think like whoever's at the top now. If like Aaron puts herself in a position, I think she would win against Aaron again. Even in Natalia Manon, that would be an interesting fight though. If Grasso was to win, I would pick Manon over Grasso. But Manon and Natalia, oof, that's a tough one. Easy said he want to see Jessica get banged up as long as she want to, man. man, I don't know, man. Yeah, she has been like more the gatekeeper, Tay. Gabby said Andrade won't get cut. Yeah, she's a company woman. And I think UFC likes her, and she tests the newcomers. Man, that McKenzie fight was crazy. Jasmine and Macy, yeah. I think if Jasmine wins, maybe she'll get the loser of Aaron Macy. That would be a good fight. Yeah, most definitely. That's a good idea. Jasmine versus the loser of Aaron versus Macy. That'd be good. Paul, what's going on, man? He said just got here. Yeah, he's tardy for the party. I'm about to wrap this thing up here in a minute. Andrade is best at 115. Yeah, that's her best home right now. But with Weili as champ, man, that's not gonna happen. Jasmine better beat Andrade. I think she will. That's one pick that I'm confident in on that card. Like if she go in there and get done like Mackenzie Dern, I'm gonna be like, oh no, we gotta get her out of here. Let me see. Gabby said Jazzy could possibly get the shot next if both Barber and Silva were to lose. Manon already beat Aaron, and Grasso already had her chance. That's an interesting take right there. Yeah, because let's say Jasmine beats Andrade, and if Barbara loses and Silva loses, they be out of the mix. And don't nobody want to see a fourth fight with Grasso. And Manon already beat Aaron. Yeah, that might be interesting. Easy said, "How much noise are you going to talk when Manon win that belt?" I tell you what, I don't want to jinx it, man. I don't want to jinx it because if she see Easy act like Easy trying to bait me out of my pick. Easy's trying to bait me out of my pick already, and he done did it too. Slick. He caught me with a he caught me on a rope there playing around with my chin out. Easy done caught me with a little inside right hand there. Oh, that's funny. He said, how much noise am I going to talk? Oh boy. Believe me, anybody that picked Valentina, I'll give him a link. I'm gonna give him a link just like when Grasso. We already know who I'm gonna pick. Okay. Can you believe this though? Fun fact. This is the first time I picked against Valentina since any of her bantamweight fights. I never picked against Valentina at flyweight. I never picked against Valentina at flyweight. How you like that? Even whenever Tyler Santos, this will be probably the first fight I picked. I'll pick against Valentina. All three Grasso fights, I picked Valentina. Y'all thought I was crazy. I was like, "Oh, you still picking her?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think she'll get it." Second fight, I was like, "Yeah, Valentina's gonna win." Got closer to a draw. I picked Valentina in the third fight. Y'all like, "You still picking Valentina?" I'm like, yeah, she gonna win. Finally, Valentina beats Grasso. Might have been boring, but she finally 50-45 Grasso. BJ said, "Got him." Let me see. When was the last time I picked against Valentina? Nunes, 2017. The rematch. That was the very first time I picked against. No. That was the last time that was the last time I picked. Yeah. That was the very last time I picked against her. Paul said, shame. It wasn't like a fanboy type of pick, like, cheerleading pick. I just think that Manon's going to do it this time. I think that she'll do it. I think she'll pick up where Grasso left off in a better way. Grasso, man, that girl surprised me, man. Like, take it back 2 years ago, man. Let's take it back 2 years ago. Grasso, she came out of nowhere with that hard jab, man, on Valentina. That first fight. Remember when that first punch landed on Valentina and how she reacted in that Grasso fight? Was I the only one shocked? Was I the only one shocked whenever Grasso started tagging Valentina and she cut her on the bridge of the nose? Y'all remember that, right? Valentina came out of that first round, second round. That nose was cut. You remember? I was a little shaky right there. I was like, oh man. I was like, Valentina, she looked a little stunned in this first round. I know y'all remember that. Like, I ain't making this stuff up. She looked a little different. And then when the left hand landed, I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, okay, Grasso's got a game plan. And I saw a little bit of something I haven't seen in Valentina's eyes in a while, and that was frustration. That was frustration. And when that frustration kicked in, it kicked into an urgency, which she started winning. She started coming back. She started throwing some jabs and started wrestling more, but then Val got a little tired. And when she got tired, she started throwing some of those spin kicks and throwing to be special effects. And then boom, Valentina gave up her back. And it was over. That was weird. Yeah. So once you can kind of get on the inside of her striking, and that's what I mean, Axel. Like, I think Manon's going to have to do some things where she gets on the inside and lands some shots that kind of rattles the chin or even rattles the ego of Valentina. You know what I mean? You got to rattle the ego. You got to rattle the ego. You got to rattle the chin. And then put her in a different place like, oh, this girl really want to fight. And then put her into a panic mode. Paul said, okay, what is the method of victory? I'd say probably decision. I would say decision. Colostrum said Manon's coach said they plan on using a lot of wrestling and grappling in this fight. I would say cage wrestling is very important. I saw Val get a little tired too in some of those wrestling moments in the second fight. Yeah. Third fight, she was fresh though. Third fight, she was fresh on her game. She was ready to go. She was like 5 rounds of just wrestling, and that was it. And Grasso wasn't prepared for that. So, yeah. Easy said they should have gave Val the belt they made for Grasso. Oh, they should have gave Val the belt they made for Grasso as a trophy. Wow. She collected that head back, right? BJ said, you saw the frustration in her eyes. I saw the frustration in her lips. Oh, boy. What is up with you and her lips, BJ? Gosh, man. What? BJ's always seeing like BJ reads lips, man. BJ can read lips for some reason. I was like, oh, man. Oh, yeah. Colossus said they were going to use wrestling and grappling a lot. Yeah, I seen her coach, her grappling coach, pretty good grappling coach. I think they're preparing to use it, and that would be wise to be able to counter. Definitely, you want to keep it, but I don't think it'd be wise to just go in there and initiate it. Like he said, I know he did say that she's prepared, but okay, yeah. Axel said, yeah. He said they didn't say that. Yeah, because I got a different article here that I've seen. Hold on, mine. What's his name? Aldric. Aldric did an article where he was talking about her jiu-jitsu coach, and he was saying that she's working and she's ready. She's ready if it goes to the ground. If that's the one you're talking about. That's the one I saw Aldric. Honest question. If Val gets Manon down, how do you think Manon will respond from her back? I think she'll get back up. I think if she gets on her back, it'll be to, get into a position to bounce back up. I don't think it'll be about, trying to stay down there too long. It'll be to reverse the position and get back to her feet. I think some good positions would be to get back to her feet and try to drive Valentina to the cage into a cage clinch where she could land more in the inside and kind of wear Valentina down. But I think if she gets put on her back, she bounces up. I don't really see her getting I don't think I don't see her getting drowned like most strikers do. Like I think Manon next to like Joanna's takedown defense is really it's really crafted for certain situations. Like they don't, she ain't one of them strikers that just accepts a bottom position and just lays there. Mm. But yeah, yeah. No, Paul, I don't have any of her getting punched in the face because I was talking about the Grasso fight, and I had this one on. I had this one on file. I had this one on file because this is what Grasso did. Shock, shock the world. um, Let me see. Somebody, I wonder. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Easy said Miguel Cotto style. Uh-oh, the GOAT. He talking about Amanda Nunes. Man, what do y'all think though? Like if Manon wins, I'm gonna do a video on that. If Manon wins, like, do y'all think how long do you think before she moves up to 135? Like, do you think her success would be better at 135 versus 125 with the way bantamweight looks right now? Because 135 has a lot of big girls, but if she grows into the weight, yeah, that's him. Santiago. Yeah, Santiago. Yeah, that's the one I read. Yeah, he's ready to grapple. Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah, Manon was ready to grapple. Yeah, yeah, if need be. That's the one I read. It was a little while back. I thought Aldrich had put it out there about Flavio, but yeah, that's the one. That's the one. It was like a month or so ago. But on that note, y'all, I am about to get up off of here. It's been like a little bit over a week since the last live. But hey, make sure y'all tune in next Tuesday for sure. We're gonna do this WMMA mashup with BJ here in the building. Um, Listen to BJ talking about I don't know if she can beat people like Yana. Oh, yeah, you will throw Yana name in there, man. He gonna throw Yana in there. Cavalcanti is a good striker though. Cavalcanti, she's a chess player too. Like she don't really bring that power like that. You know, that would be a good fight. Yana kind of Scott. We ain't talking about Yana, man. He talking about Yana gonna get Manon in trouble, man. She gonna get picked apart. No, don't even, man. We talking about Manon moving up. She gonna pick her apart. Get her up out of there. 30-27. And Eileen Perez. Yes, sir. Okay, yeah. B just said this weekend he gonna try to drop the live round by round for who we doing again? Who you doing, BJ? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Big Norm. She's dangerous. Yeah, Big Norm is dangerous. Even Kel Rosa could be dangerous. Yeah, for style wise, styles make fights. Big Norma. Oh, she's more dangerous. Yeah, I'm gonna have to sit back on that one. Think first. Easy said. Yana got ran up out of. She got ran up out of Jackson Week. Ooh, Yana ain't too big for number no man. Like, if she get up to 135, she gonna be weight cut ain't gonna be rough either. She gonna be strong as I don't know what. BJ, you already did Macy versus Chu. You just did that one last Friday or last week, whatever. Yeah, you already did Macy versus Chikagan, man. You got to be doing the you're supposed to be doing one of Manone's fights, right? Or no, Grasso. Okay, yeah, you gotta see who you doing. Grasso Barber, something like that. Yeah. Yes, sir. But on that note, let me get ready to bounce up out of here. We're gonna wrap this show up. Good show, good chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Always here just to talk some WMMA. Um, I would try to catch y'all maybe Saturday. We'll do a live. Oh, Manone versus Chup. There you go. Okay, that's the next one. Okay. Boy, everybody was fighting Chikagan, man. Everybody built the name off Chikagan, right? Then Grasso Barber. Got you. All right. Next for me is going to be Aaron versus Tyler and Valentina versus Joanna. Yeah, hold on. Aaron versus Tyler and Val versus Joanna. Yeah, those are mine. Manone's being in Canada tomorrow. Okay. Man, we getting closer too. We getting closer. So I gotta do this little breakdown real quick for him. And yeah, go from there. But yeah, hit that like button and subscribe, y'all. And we will catch y'all on the next one. And yeah, I will maybe get on live Saturday to call some fights. We'll see. But if not, I might go ahead and do one of my round by rounds on Saturday or whenever, before or after you, BJ. But I'm out. Later, y'all. Peace.